Hi, I'm Dr. Brad Shapiro, and with me I've got Dr. Jerry Anderson with Ultimate Health Chiropractic. We just wanted to welcome you back to another exciting episode of The Learning Curve. Today we're going to talk about the adjustment and what really happens. I know, Doc, you've been in practice for 26 years, so what's your perspective on what happens with the adjustment?
Well, the adjustment makes you feel, one, a heck of a lot better, especially if you're me. It has meant seriously, Dr. Shapiro, it has meant the difference in quality of life that is difficult to describe.
Sure.
But anyway, it's why I'm a chiropractor.
Sure.
At age 20, I got an adjustment the very first time, and it was a life-changing event. I didn't know a human being could feel that good. Now, seriously, of course, not all people respond in the same way or need it as desperately as I did, but buddy, a bunch do, and they are very grateful people when they get a good adjustment from a great doctor like you. So.
Yeah, it's, a lot of people, we talk about the adjustment all the time. We talked about it several times with the show. And we wanted to take some time today to give you guys some insight into what happens with an adjustment. What does it feel like? What does it look like? What really happens in terms of the neurology and the physiology? Just kind of give you the nuts and bolts so it can become more of a real thing for you. And so with that, we just wanted to dive into, I'm actually adjusting some patients during some of these clips.
Yes. Doing
some different techniques, and we just want to kind of walk you through what's happening with this. But before we get started, can you kind of give us some insight into, with some of the improvements you saw with your own health with the adjustments?
Absolutely.
And your background in terms of your health challenges?
Yes, and let me begin by saying, too, that even after all these years, a vast majority of the people have no earthly idea what a chiropractic adjustment is really like. Now, they understand the old school of, well, it pops your neck, pops your back. It's really much different, much more involved, many, hundreds plus types of techniques usable. But the difference that it made in my life, well, I was a kid of 20, and I incidentally had been told by a good friend, a medical doctor, don't ever go to one of those stupid quacks, referring to chiropractors. I was 15 years old when I asked him about this. Well, 5 years later, when I was 20 years old, I went to one of those so-called quacks, and I found out who the real doctor was. It was Dr. Harold Liebergazell, chiropractor, in Camden, Tennessee, because when he evaluated my system, he detected the scoliosis that mainstream medicine had totally missed. He set about correcting the problems that he found. But incidentally, I had walked in telling him, I'm not hurting anywhere, Doc. I've just heard that you guys can take care of certain problems with, like asthma without drugs. And that's what I'm really here for. I had learned to ignore so much pain in the neck, mid-back particularly, and some in the low back. Oh, it's just normal for you, Jerry. The heck it is. It was not normal. And when he corrected it, it was incredible. I lay there, I said, Dr. Liebergazell, can I just lie here for a few minutes? I've never felt this good in my life, and I don't want to move. I wasn't kidding. When I got up and walked out of that guy's office, I was a different human being than the one that walked in. The neck pain, I thought it was supposed to hurt to turn your head to the left. I thought everybody's mid-back hurt all the time. I thought there was constant anxiety and so on. The butterflies in my stomach, the restlessness, what would, I guess in today's terms, be referred to as ADHD, that prevented me from being able to sit and concentrate for more than 5 minutes reading or doing some kind of fine motor task like building an airplane, model airplane, something like that. It was completely gone. I went home and slept 12 hours straight, the best night's sleep I'd ever had in my life, and I was a convert. I say it's sort of like being bitten by a werewolf. The next thing I know, I am a chiropractor.
Sure.
But anyway, it's very profound, Dr. Brad, and so that's why I became a chiropractor.
Sure, and a couple of things you mentioned that I just wanted to touch on is, as Dr. Anderson mentioned, there's well over 100 techniques in terms of chiropractic. I've heard as many as 250 different techniques. And so a lot of, one chiropractor can be a lot different than another one. It's about, mixing and matching. It's about using whatever you feel comfortable with. Or for other chiropractors, they just stick with one technique. There's just a million different degrees of chiropractic that you can go through. But as Dr. Anderson mentioned, it really made a huge difference in his life. And so I wanted to kind of give you guys some insight into what really happens. So with that, if we can get one of our clips to come up.
We got a little play-by-play
Yeah,
going
we got a little
here. There it
play-by-play.
is.
Here we go. And what I'm doing, this is actually my beautiful wife, Melissa. She is, she's getting an adjustment right now. And what I'm doing right now is I'm testing some of the muscles in her spine.
The neurology.
The neurology. The way I like to describe it to patients is the way the neurology works is you've got signals that start in your brain, they travel down your spinal cord, and then they come out of all these nerves that go into every muscle, organ, gland, everything in the body. And what we're doing with the muscle testing is we know what nerves from the spine connect to what muscles. So it's not a strength test. We just want to make sure those muscles are really locking. And if they're not, it's kind of like we know there's a blown fuse, and it gives us insight of where to adjust.
You're working on a trigger point in this shot right here, just kind of relaxing Melissa's neck before you actually do a move here, I think, if I remember correctly, watching this.
Sure.
And look how happy she looks. Happy, smiling, cheerful. I mean, it feels good to, I mean, if you are going around with constant low-grade pain, to have that eliminated, what a blessing it is. Your ability to function well, feel good, do anything, any of your little tasks, man, if you feel better, it makes life better.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And it's, right here, I'm actually delivering the adjustment.
Now watch this. You do an incredibly gentle adjustment. That's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
If you're really good and smooth and you get the line of drive right, the way that you are very capable of doing, the joint will release. In other words, if it's stuck and hurting and not moving, you can actually get the thing to let go. Just a little bump. That's all it takes. And what a difference it makes, though.
Sure. Absolutely. So we got done adjusting her neck. The neck it's a key area to adjust because there's a ton of neurology that flows through the neck, and so you can really have an impact on the neurology.
Just to translate that a little further, you can have something wrong in your neck that'll mess up everything all the way down your spine.
Sure.
You don't get the neck fixed, you don't get the back problem to ease up. And not only that, but as you well know, as we're constantly talking, the neuroimmunology connection, to use a term coined by Dr. Panjabi at Yale University Medical School, to describe the guy didn't want to admit, I don't think he's fond of chiropractors, which is extremely short-sighted, for a scientist, but he kind of reluctant to admit that what he's describing is a chiropractic adjustment, but really there's not much way around it. You get the little impulse movement into the joint that restores proper movement and function. And right now, the table is flexing there. And that puts a little bit of gentle stretch into the back while you do your work up at the top of the thoracic area there. I think we've got about another minute to go here in this segment, Doc. Anything you want to say to finish that up there?
Well, it's one of the things that you guys could see as I was doing the adjustments is this is a great example of the variety that you can do with chiropractic. At one point the viewers could see me pull out the little activator instrument.
I counted 4 techniques. Just that. And that's just scratching the surface on the many different techniques that there are.
Sure.
But it was a good segment.
Yeah, absolutely. And just stay tuned with us.
Yeah, we've got another clip I think we can do.
Yeah, we're going to come back in 10 minutes.
Do not attempt this at home, folks, though. Remember our disclaimer at the front,
Sure.
Get to your own doctor for your own healthcare needs. Do not attempt this on any children, pets, or family members. Bring them to the chiropractor.
Or rodents or anything.
Yeah.
So with that, stay tuned, and we will be right back. Again, I'm Dr. Brad Shapiro. This is Dr. Jerry Anderson, and we'll be back with the learning curve. Hi, welcome back. Again, I'm Dr. Brad Shapiro, and with me I've got Dr. Jerry Anderson, and we are here on the learning curve. We wanted to continue what we were talking about earlier, Doc.
Yeah, let me first do something that my wife Terry wants me to do and explain why I've got Elvis hair now. I'm in a play. I'm in the Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat last 2 weekends in April in Tullahoma.
Sure.
And that's the reason for the slightly different hair. And so that's all it's about, folks, really. And I hope you can come and see the play. The cast is fantastic, and they're doing a great job. Really looking forward to this. But, it's the last 2 weekends in April. Go to communityplayhouse.org, and I'll give you all the info you need, and hope to see you there. But anyway, we were doing some chiropractic in our first segment, and
Sure, and one thing I wanted to touch on too, as long as we're talking about different events, I wanted to mention the retirement / grand opening party that we've got coming up.
Right.
That is going to be May 12th. It's at 7 p.m. It's going to be at San Miguel's. It's going to be a great time. Dr. Anderson's going to be singing, so that'll be exciting.
My little band, the Jerry Anderson Ensemble, is going to be there, but also we have got another great band, including the guy who is our director right now, our producer, Will Rudder. He and his dad, Michael Rudder, their band, they're going to be there, and so we're going to get to sit in with them a little bit and just meet some old friends. And we're inviting everybody, all our patients and friends from the past, and just sort of a pass the torch party. We want to have a good time and give people a chance to get acquainted with Dr. Shapiro if they like, or spend a few minutes with me, kicking around old times and having some fun. Going to be some good food too. The Republican women are putting together a feed for us, along with some efforts by Zach down at San Miguel's.
Sure.
May the 12th, Saturday night. A lot of fun.
Yes, be here or be there, please.
Yes, yes.
But back to the adjustments. One of the things that, if we can get back to the clip that we just had on,
Right.
one of the things you'll see us do a lot of is a lot of the muscle testing. And that's, I know that's something you've been doing for years, Doc, with the applied kinesiology.
Right.
But, the muscle testing, this is a key part of the analysis, and it really allows us to get specific in terms of what's going on with the neurology. Because again, as we mentioned before, we have a pretty good understanding of what nerves connect to what muscles.
Right.
So based on how the muscles respond, that gives us insight into what's going on with the neurology and allows us to be more specific with our care.
Right. Now, this can be a little bit subjective.
Sure.
Because a practitioner that doesn't know what he or she is doing, that does a muscle test, and their own desires or agenda is driving it, they're not going to get the good results.
Sure.
They're not going to get the good read. But this is why you kind of have to vet the process as you go along, and you do that very well. What we're looking for in the muscle is a good isometric contraction that indicates that neurology is like it ought to be. The muscle will lock out, as we say. And it's not a strength test. You don't have to push with a lot of force. And people are absolutely astounded when you find a system that is out of balance, like the psoas muscles that you were testing there at the very beginning, the leg, holding the leg up and putting it in a certain position and trying to push it down. I've done this myself. I've been lying there as the patient thinking, I'll hold it this time. There's nothing wrong. I can hold it, and wham, And, just simply can't, hold even against minimal resistance until the subluxation or the reflex problem is corrected. And reflex problem, what I mean specifically is organs and muscles tend to work together. That is under the concept of applied kinesiology, which I use and you use as well. And you can have a system, an organ system, that just isn't quite up to par. The muscle that is associated with that is going to be weak as well, and it is a fantastic means of getting things corrected and functioning better. I did an adjustment on a teacher one day, and then did the reflex that it took to strengthen some muscles, and it was so funny. She said, "They can't have done anything. I'm a teacher. I'm smart. I've been to school. I understand these things. I'm not easily fooled. That can't have done anything. But my ankle doesn't hurt anymore. I can't believe this. It's been hurting for years. My ankle doesn't hurt anymore." And she's walking around, just walk, walk, walk. And I thought, how interesting, another convert there.
That's one of the things I love about chiropractic. I mean, statistically, chiropractic has an 80% patient satisfaction rate. And so it really does work. People are, consistently pleased with the results. One story it makes me think of is I just had a patient that, I just recently had a patient come in that came with my uncle, or actually I guess my I shouldn't say my uncle, my wife's uncle,
Yeah.
uncle-in-law, whatever
Right,
that would
there you
be.
go. Might interrupt you just long enough to say, note from this angle, you can see the flexion that Will is undergoing there.
Sure.
It's putting the gentle decompression stretch. That's our method of doing it. Pardon the interruption there. You were saying
Oh,
about
no, that's a
your
great point.
uncle-in-law.
Yeah, my uncle-in-law, this is the second time he's seen me take care of somebody with a low back syndrome, with a pain syndrome. And he has seen me, get two people well, with the adjustments. And it's, he's a very skeptical person by nature, but it's, I think through repetition, 2 times in a row, he's seen people feel better from the adjustments, from the treatment.
Right.
He's becoming a convert. It's just, it's, as my mama used to like to say, the proof's in the pudding, and it really is with this stuff. It works.
It honestly is. And so over the years, the medical doctors that I've treated and even a couple of physical therapists and different people, it's been a real pleasure to get to do that. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to demonstrate chiropractic to people that are they're sort of colleagues, like the nurse practitioner, patients that we've had and that sort of thing. And many times their eyes are open. They say, gosh, I didn't know it was like this. This is amazing. This is really great. And so we have had patients referred to us from the nurse practitioner, the medical doctor, and even occasionally a physical therapist. And sadly, the physical therapy community and chiropractic, are sort of in adversarial terms from time to time because we're sort of covering the same turf. I'm very proud to say that chiropractic has been doing it since 1895, along with D.D. Palmer. And guys, we were here first. So anyway, let's get together and let's do what's best for the patients. By all means, let's do what is best for our patients, which means let's take a cooperative attitude in the field of healthcare, and let's get mainstream medicine, as some of our medical doctor patients and others have learned, the need for chiropractic's incorporation into mainstream healthcare. Let's get that on the road here. Let's get that show going, because there's so many people out there that need chiropractic and don't even know it. Didn't even occur to them. And what a shame it is to have somebody come in that has been hurting, literally. In one case, a lady came in, she's been hurting for 33 years. 33 years, low back pain. Well, she actually came in for a shoulder problem. She thought the low back was hopeless. Well, in checking her one day, I said, ma'am, do you mind if I move your low back here a little bit? This is really in a mess here. Well, okay. Well, I did, and amazingly, she said, my back doesn't hurt anymore. Well, that's wonderful. She came back the next visit and said, Dr. Anderson, my low back doesn't hurt anymore. I said, well, that's good. And she said, no, Dr. Anderson, I don't think you understand. I'm telling you that my low back that has hurt for the last 33 years doesn't hurt anymore after what you did at the last visit. Do you get it? I said, yeah, I get it. Now I'm starting to get excited. And she says, I can tell you exactly 33 years because it was after my son was born. My back never quit hurting. I got to tell you, it is ridiculous for a person to hurt that long in this day and time of such marvelous communication, and for her to not know that there was an alternative that might have helped her. 33 years.
Yeah.
Half the woman's life she hurt for no reason.
It's crazy, and that's one of the
Ridiculous.
things we continually talk about. Is I think we would both be in agreement in the sense that let's just put the cards on the table.
Right.
Let's see what everybody has to offer, including chiropractic, and then do what's appropriate for the patient. But the fact that these things have become secrets or hard knowledge to come by, it's crazy.
Well,
chiropractic's the best kept secret in healthcare, in my opinion.
We do a little disclaimer in which we tell people, get to the physician of your choice for healthcare tailored to your needs. Don't depend on the TV show, radio show, or internet or anything else. Get to a doctor, get to a good one that can diagnose and take care of your situation. But at the same time, we urge people to check out chiropractic.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
anyway, I think we've come into that point where it's time to break for our next segment.
Yeah.
But we've got something else lined up, I guess.
Yeah, we're just going to continue down this same path. One of the things we're going to do in our next segment is we're just going to do a real quick, brief presentation of what muscle testing looks like, so the viewers can kind of see real quick what exactly that looks like. And with that, just stay tuned, and we will be right back. I'm Dr. Brad Shapiro with Ultimate Health Chiropractic. Thank you for joining us again with this third segment of the learning curve. One of the things we wanted to start out with was just a brief demonstration of the muscle testing. One of the things I like to do, and it kind of gives you an idea of how the neurology works, and the idea of the cross crawl, meaning the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body, left side of the brain controls the right side of the body. But if you will, Dr. Anderson, just do like 10 push-up motions like that.
You mean
for
like
me. Like that? Yep. There you go.
Why am I doing this? This feels sort of like the Tai Chi move, pushing the waves.
There you go. Good deal. Look, that's as smooth as it gets. Okay, now hold your arms out for me like this.
Okay.
Don't let me push down, okay? So that's good and strong. A lot of it was the Tai Chi movement of the, and that brings together the different components, and that kind of gives viewers the idea of that strong movement. Okay.
Will is giving us direction. Our director is directing us.
Exactly.
And we've got a live studio audience. We've actually got a friend and patient here watching the program with us.
I'll show you a different motion now. You could see the fluidity of the motions Dr. Anderson was doing. Now let me show you like a push-up motion. This isn't near.
That's the real
It's not
thing.
Engaged. It's not. I'm not using all the balancing motions and the neurology. But if you push down now.
Okay, give it all you got.
Okay.
Push.
Yeah, and you can see it just won't lock. Yeah.
It's not like, okay.
So you can see, and it's, I'm sure there's some people at home that think, Brad Dr. Shapiro just dropped his arms, or he wasn't pushing hard enough.
Try it.
But try it.
Yeah, right.
Try it. So that kind of gives you the idea of how the neurology works. But just to kind of switch gears, one of the things I wanted to touch on too, because I know we've talked about so many different things, but one of the things I wanted to touch on was we use the kinesiology, meaning the muscle testing, not just for the adjustments, but we also use it for the nutrition.
Right.
And one story I wanted to mention is we just recently had a patient that had serious cholesterol issues for a long time. As you and I have discussed before, the number one reason for cholesterol issues is the thyroid. We used that knowledge in combination with the kinesiology to pinpoint the nutritional supplements that she needed. And she just told me that she just had her blood work ran and her cholesterol's dropped by 20 points in about 2 months.
Excellent.
Her MD, her medical doctor, was astounded. He said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And it was just by using the things that we use on a daily basis, between the knowledge and the techniques and those types of things.
Well, I'm fond of quoting and reading Dr. Russell Blaylock. And Dr. Blaylock is a medical doctor, a neurosurgeon, a very well-known, renowned neurosurgeon. And the newsletter, the health newsletter that he puts out, man, he is so different from the pharmacologically driven side of medicine. In other words, he doesn't give a drug for everything. He is constantly urging his patients to do lifestyle changes, their dietary changes that are critically important. It's very good to read this stuff, but he talks about in one of his newsletters how astounded he is with cholesterol, with the thyroid being responsible for high cholesterol in so many cases. Yet how many medical doctors are asking their patient, do you have symptoms like this? Unexpected weight gain, difficult to lose weight, lethargy, depression, thinning hair, stuff like this that may be a thyroid issue. And the patient is never asked that. It's just immediately, well, here, we're learning a script for Lipitor here, or something like that, some statin drug. Well, look, if the thyroid is the problem, dang it, treat the thyroid.
Sure.
And watch the cholesterol come down as a side effect of that, a good side effect, an incidental, but also look at the tremendous improvement in the patient's general health by virtue of treating the real problem, the root cause being the thyroid in this case. But medicine just really hasn't awakened to that yet.
And that's a great point. The tremendous change in their health. I use the cholesterol as kind of a clue to go into the thyroid. But not only did this patient's cholesterol lower, her energy's gone up. her hair, and she's commented on the fact that her hair is becoming thicker. I mean, she has
Amazing.
commented on that.
That is beautiful.
And it's just, it's not magic. It's not anything other than just getting to the root cause, which is a fundamental part of chiropractic philosophy. Get to the root cause of the situation, whether it be a structural issue or a metabolic issue or a stress management issue. So
Not only that, but at Ultimate Health Chiropractic, we're cheerful and friendly. You know? Listen, we don't mean to be highly critical of good medical doctors. We appreciate, admire, and thank God for them. It's just that. We're also very thankful for good chiropractors and the good that we can do. We are very much interested in seeing chiropractic more included in mainstream healthcare.
Sure.
Because of the good that it can do. And that is the number one reason that, that I started doing programs of this type years ago. And I'm so thankful, I'm glad that you are interested in doing the same thing, because frankly, Dr. Brad, a lot of people just simply do not know. They don't know these things. Mm-hmm. And while we always say, look, get to the healthcare provider of your choice, get to your healthcare physician, your medical doctor, your osteopathic physician, nurse practitioner, whoever, that can tailor the care to your specific needs. But at the same time, we urge people, become a well-informed consumer, patient/consumer, because you need to know stuff like we're talking about here in order to ask the right questions and hopefully dialogue properly with the physician of your choice so that you get answers and get headed in the right direction.
Sure. Some of the language that I've actually borrowed from Dr. Anderson along those same lines is, I noticed that Dr. Anderson would always encourage his patients to challenge him, to bring up questions, any concerns.
Incidentally, our friend and patient in the studio audience, whose name we won't mention, but he has referred us a number of people, including some weightlifters. And I don't mean just your average run-of-the-mill weightlifters. I'm talking about number close to the top in the world, bench press type guy. And when you have a patient like this come in, and as they often do, they've got a system out of balance. We're talking about one of the strongest men in the world. And you can take his shoulder, thunk, just take, here, let me do this with one finger, thunk, and the guy's lying there going, no, what? You can't believe it, And you say, you know what, this thing is a little out of line here. Let's take our activator, tap, and then all of a sudden he's forklift strong again. Listen,
You're doing
man,
chin-ups on his arm.
Really,
yeah.
This is really an attention getter.
Oh, yeah.
And we have seen this. We have done this so many times with these guys. And what a difference it makes, for them, their life. And they can't believe it. I can't believe it. But I did this adjustment on a young man one day. He asked me at a gym, he said, can you do anything with shoulders? I said, well, it depends. Let me check you out here. He said, I can't even do my normal workout weight. And just to tap in the right direction, literally testing, doing the muscle testing, tap in the right direction. The guy instantly regained his normal workout strength. He was able to do his workout that day. He came to me every other day for a month. He had previously given up on the idea of going to the powerlifting meet. Gave up on it. Well, 30 days later, he went to the powerlifting meet after we had kept him in adjustment there, and he won it. But he not only won it, he set state records in bench press and squat for his weight class. Listen, man, that's not bad for a tap in the right direction.
Not
so
at all.
I just have to say this again and again. Mainstream medicine, wake the heck up. We're not talking about physical therapy here. We're talking about chiropractic. Wake up, guys. Get your patients in to see a good chiropractor. And I mean not just the person who just crack the neck, crack the back. Somebody who knows how to do the analysis. Somebody like Dr. Shapiro here. Hurry up and do it, please. In fact, you might want to be a patient yourself. Let's get together on this. Anyway, Dr. Shapiro, it's been great talking with you this morning.
Yes, so I really appreciate it, Dr. Anderson. One thing I wanted to mention is at Ultimate Health Chiropractic, we're in Winchester. We're right across the street from the hospital. We always do free consultations. This was something that Dr. Anderson started, something I've continued, and when we mean free,
we don't charge
when we
anybody.
say free, we mean free.
Yep.
We won't charge you, your insurance, anything. But if you're just...
You have to go ahead and examine the patient, do x-rays and that sort of thing. At that point, we give them the chance, hey,
Sure.
if you don't want to proceed, no charge, you can leave, but if you want to come back later, but whatever. But
Sure. Yeah, and so if you're just...
user-friendly.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're just curious about chiropractic, not sure if it's for you, we'll be happy to sit down with you, have a conversation to see if we can help you. But with that, we really appreciate you joining us. Again, I'm Dr. Brad Shapiro with Ultimate Health Chiropractic. With me, I had Dr. Jerry Anderson, and please join us next week on our next segment of The Learning Curve.